One second, I'm just texting Bilal. Fixed. I told him it's fixed now. Okay. So yeah, just let me know if you can't hear me. But yeah, my name's Dan. If you're new here, um, I'll be going over today Bitcoin and mainly like what's changed for me after this aggressive sell here that we had yesterday. And yeah, I'll be covering ETH, Solana, and yeah, let's just get straight into it because we've lost a bit of time here. So my idea right on Monday was that once this got swept, that was going to be like the other higher low scenario. So as you can see, right here we had obviously bottomed out in like on the 22nd of November. Then we made a high low here at the start of December, higher low, higher high. And so we finally came down back here, swept the level, so it was looking good initially. And then, but as you can see on Monday, we also lost it at New York Open. So once we accepted it below, back below this level here, right? I was quite bearish, and here is where here's where I longed Solana, and initially like it had a decent reaction off that low here, but of course Bitcoin just decided to nuke even further. So I personally was expecting more strength, but unfortunately it just didn't happen. So we've accepted back below this swing low here at 87.5. And so what I'm thinking now is that we potentially might bearishly retest this trend line or similarly here, right? We had this like trend line here, right? And we had a fake out here, so people were shorting the break of this, and they all got uh, molested because it bounced back like almost 2K. So the people who bottom shorted here, they all got, they all lost money, right? So my idea would be similar here, right? We get above this trend line again, people get bullish, start like top blast long in, and but this would be just like a bearishly retesting a POI. This is two overlapping gaps or FEGs. Some people call it BPR. It's basically like there's a gap in between price here, right? And also we have this massive gap here, but you can just like nail it down to this little section here where like they basically both overlap, and that's my POI. It also kind of lines up with the 786, but it's right above it. Um, the reason why is because I also think that the previous range we had, I drew a volume profile. If you don't know, this just basically shows like where most of the volume was traded in a range. And the value area lows is purple line here, and the value area high is here. And we lost that and reclaimed it, and then we lost it again on Monday. So that was kind of like after a daily close off below the value area low. That was kind of like my indication, like okay, we potentially might start seeing back to a bearish shift, and my invalidation is quite wide because we could technically sweep this Monday high and then drop from there. So, or even the weekend high here, we could sweep that high and then drop, and that would just like end up being an SFP. So that's why I've put quite a wide invalidation there. If you want to play this tighter, you could just like short on the SFP of Monday high on a sweep. But I'm like afraid that we might front run because if like we're starting in a new bearish trend, right? Like if you can see here, right? This high never got swept, so that high was protected. This high obviously never got swept. This high never got swept. This high this high. So you can see like highs are being protected, right? So it is like a somewhat of a mini downtrend on the H4. Still technically an uptrend because we haven't lost the high low that created that high. But internally, we have accepted back about below this low here. I believe on the daily. Yeah, on we accepted back below on the daily. So my idea was we would get a. Oh, let me move that back. I've got alerts for the 786 there. My idea would be like if we do get a push up to here, I think this is a good area for a short. And if obviously we do hit stop loss, then I think my idea is wrong, and we reclaim levels higher, so value area higher. I think we would at least, if my stop loss were to hit, I think we would at least go to 92.5, and even yearly open. So that's where I place my validation, which would be above like the highs that we created on the weekend and Monday high as well. But obviously you don't have to copy me. You can like I guess wait if you wanted to for Monday high, but I'm scared that I'm gonna get front ran. Like if highs are protected in this mini bearish H4 trend, you know I don't want to be greedy and wait for a potential sweep. You know, I mean, like the difference is not that much. I mean, $800. You know, um, it's not that much of a difference. So I'd rather take a position here. I guess you could DCA there as well, but I'm leaving this as it is for now. Uh, However, right, if we sweep the low at 83.7 before we tag my limit, then this is invalid. This trade is invalid, and I'd cancel it. The idea would be that if we get filled, I'd look for the sweep of this low, and that's where I would take like the majority of the profit and leave in a runner for like potentially 80.5k. But I'd trim most of it here, right? And here's where I would look for a swing long, um, potentially not necessarily a swing. It could be a scalp as well. Um, but I'd definitely leave a runner for if like we sweep this low and that's it. We get a bearish end of year. Oh, sorry, bullish end of year. Sorry. But right now in the current in this current environment, like this is looking not great after we lost this 87.7k level. At least on the lower time frame, I think we should have a reaction here. It also does line up with the 786 sort of. It's right above it, but yeah, I'm hoping we get like a full retest of this bearish gap. If we do go back to Monday high, no problem. I do expect this level to provide a sweep if it is tagged. And even then, like I would maybe look to scalp this, but I'm not sure. It depends how clean the structure is once we get there. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts right now on Bitcoin. Um, I do think we go a bit lower, potentially even down here, but for now, this is my target for the short that we have, and this is also where I went long, right? This like blue outlined box here is like it's to me it's like higher time frame demand because like the two bottom candles that form the bottom here in April, I've just taken that the two daily candles, outlined that, and we had already like a really good reaction here, and the second high low that we had here was the perfect retest of that as well. So that was nice. I think this area between like it's like an 8k it's 8k wide, so it is somewhat like what's it called? It's too wide for me to like set limits. I'd rather, you know, if we do come down here, I'd rather wait for structure to form and then potentially, you know, if I see like a lower high being taken out, I'd look to get in on a pullback and then start targeting a lot higher. You know, that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We've still got this level to get through, right? I think this would be like the last stand for the bulls. Otherwise, it's back to the lows. You know, there's nothing really in between 83 and 81K. It's just in my eyes, it's just kind of air here. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. On Ethereum out of Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, I think Ethereum looks the best. Mainly because, right, like that this basically the low that we created on Sunday on the 7th of December. Bitcoin's lost that, right? I just showed you guys, and Sol has as well, right? Solana. Um, but Ethereum has not lost it yet. So it's right now it's just swept the level. It's just swept. So in my opinion, a nice play would be like, I don't know, if Ethereum comes back down to these lows here, literally where we were this morning, and Bitcoin was to take out like the low as well. I would, instead of long in Bitcoin, I would rather long Ethereum on that sweep. This isn't a limit order, by the way. This is just like showing some like the structure I'd be looking for to long on the scalp. That would be like a setup I'd be interested in. So like it would be a sweep and a close above this wick here, and I'd look to get in on like a little small retrace, and then like target like maybe this range, small minimum range high here. Apart from that, if we don't hold this level, then I'm like confident we probably will see 2.8k again, and I look for a sweep there as well, right? I look for some structure to get long on here. Why here? I'll tell you why. It's because, in my opinion, sorry, in my opinion, this is like a lower time frame demand zone. Yeah, demand zone. So as you can see, this little local range high caused like a little sweep of both these lows here. And once it swept that, it had a very impulsive move after. So essentially, what I'm saying is there were there were bulls who stepped in here. There were buyers who stepped in here, pushed the price higher, and made this led to this SFP here. And so I'm expecting once we revisit this area, it'll be strong demand zone again. And I wouldn't set limits. I'd wait for it to get tagged first. Then once I see a reaction, look to get in on a pullback, on a low time frame pullback. But yeah, first we have to, you know, lose this level here at 2.8, 2860, 2870. Other than that, if we don't hold this, then yeah, we're definitely gonna go to 2717. And from there, it's like I'm not sure I would even be interested in long in a sweep of there, maybe, but I'd be looking at this low here at like 2618 again. But from a higher time frame perspective, like it made sense why Ethereum bounced from where it did, because this Fibonacci, this is like a golden pocket from like literally the lows in April to the highs in August. So I didn't long down here, but we had a nice reaction. You know, a nice long would have technically been like that sweep there, and like maybe entering like lower time frame with like invalidation below the sweep of that wick there, something like that. And you could have targeted, I don't know, like a high, or maybe this mini swing high there. But I didn't take that. This is just hindsight analysis, right? But if we do something similar, if we come down here and do something similar, so like take that wick, it ends up being an SFP, I would probably look to long that. I think that'd be nice to long. Oh Jesus Christ, that looks horrible. Something like this. Yeah, I really like SFPs a lot because it's like, it's kind of confirmation. Oh, if you don't know what SFP is, it's swing failure pattern. So it's just a sweep and then the candle closure above that, the wick low. So like back here we had a sweep. We had a double sweep, so if you shorted there first, you would have gotten wicked out. But you know, it still had a crazy reaction from that zone. I mean, we're down now like $500 from there. Same thing here. We had an SFB, H4 SFB, had a $300 drawdown. I know people who just short based of SFPs and then they're pretty profitable. I just like to include more confluences into a setup, you know, not just a sweep, but like, you know, where fibs align, you know, value area lows, value area highs of a volume profile. And oh yeah, so this was, I think I covered this in my last stream because Ethereum was looking very, very strong last week. And I genuinely thought it was going to go up here to 3.6K. But I was going to look to short there because I believe this is, yeah, this is a daily FEG. So if we had taken the high here and SFP that probably on the daily, I would have looked to short that lower time frame for a little mini pullback from here. Like this was a good this is a good confluence for a short in my opinion. You got daily gap plus like a high here that what's it called, buy side liquidity, sorry, that created a, you know, pretty big drawdown move. So I'd be looking to short that if we do get up there, but that's like later down the line. And as for Sol, I'll go over Sol. So I longed here because, oh sorry, I set a limit order when Sol was like around here in this area. And the reason why is because it was showing relative strength against Bitcoin and Ethereum at the time, right? Like if you see, so I just showed you guys the weekend highs of Bitcoin, and we never tagged them, right? Like they stayed protected on Bitcoin. On Solana, we took them out on Monday, so I was like, oh my god, whoa, like this Solana's showing, you know, some signs of strength. I'm probably gonna set a limit for a pullback. Well, we got the pullback. Bitcoin swept its low that it had made on Monday morning, and Solana was around here when that happened, right? So Bitcoin has swept the low. You know what? I'll just show you. So when we got filled in Solana, Bitcoin was like here. So it had just taken out the low, and I was just expecting a bounce, right? And had we gotten the bounce from sweeping that low, I'm pretty sure we would have hit TP on Solana because it was looking very, very strong. Like I said, it was relatively strong compared to Bitcoin and ETH. Unfortunately, Bitcoin just kept nuking. So we didn't really, yeah, I didn't really get a chance to go break even. I would have liked to go break even at like 1R on this one, but we never got the chance to, unfortunately. We like initially we got like a decent reaction. Like I think it did like 0.7R, but that wasn't enough for me to go break even, man. You know. So yeah, Bitcoin nuked. This setup to me was like not an A plus, but it was an A setup. And yeah, it just got completely ruined by Bitcoin. And the setup this morning, of course, the setup that I don't alert hits 3R. I've already taken most profits on this, but this was a low confidence setup. After this stopped out, I wasn't confident calling out Solana again, so I didn't call this out. But like the reason I took this trade, I'll explain it real quick. Like this little swing high here caused the sweep of that low, right? So it swept that low, closed above on the 30 minutes. And I mean, can you guys see how on this local high here, this candle, we closed above, right? We displaced. There was displacement after sweeping this local high here, swept the low, and like a couple 30 minutes later, a couple 30-minute candles later, we got displaced above that high. So I was like, okay, well, bulls are in control here because yes, they the sellers managed to sweep that, like, sell enough to get into that low, but they didn't have enough fuel to push it lower, and bull stepped up here. So my idea was that, okay, well, bull stepped up here, that's probably going to stay a protected low. So I drew like a little mini like demand zone from that high to that wick low that we made, and I entered on the 50%. Yeah, I got filled, but like I went half risk, man, because like I don't trust this coin anymore. I'm what I'm looking at right now is this social, right? So we had a this was a crazy sweep, right? Looking back now, this was like this sweep here, this candle that we made was kind of like my first sign to like you know maybe like I don't know, it was like a sign of like a potential weakness. It would have been nicer if it closed above, and then I guess like had a slower pullback. But this was a very violent move. So yeah, we've got this little supply zone here from that wick low that caused the sweep, and I'm looking to short the 50% of that, and that also kind of lines up with it's right above the 786. I think that's like the 886, which is like a little bit above the 786. So I think that's a good confluence. Also, I believe this is yeah, H1 EMA. Like this is like that, like the average of H1 EMA, I think. Also, I think if I'm not mistaken, yeah, monthly VWAP here. So we got a couple confluences for like why this area would see a reaction, and I think that high is gonna stay protected. Um, Structure wise, I also longed because like this low here was swept initially, so I was looking for a pullback to long into, right? And yeah, it just didn't hold. So it is what it is. It showed strength for like maybe like I don't know, man, like 2 hours, and it just turned back into a shit coin, right? Unfortunately, unfortunately for us, I got stopped out. It was minus half. It was half risk, so it was minus zero point 0.5 R for me. So yeah, this closed below that little swing low that we had, and I just don't like the structure anymore. So I'm probably not gonna long this anymore, or at least not alert any longs on it for a bit until I see some like breaker structure back to the upside. Right now, it just looks like it's like downtrending. I mean, it is downtrending, right? Like lower highs, lower lows. So yeah, I'm looking for a retrace into this area here. Um, and yeah, I think Muro is shorting as well. So that's sorry, I've got a really bad cough. That's Bitcoin. Oh, sorry, that's Solana. I mean, Bitcoin. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? With the Bitcoin short. This short. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I will alert this so short. It really depends. If I'm in the Bitcoin short already and this ends up hitting, I'll probably just cancel this. So for now, I'm not gonna alert it. This is kind of like an A setup for me, and the Bitcoin one, for me, it's A plus. It's higher probability than the Solana one. We also do have a monthly VWAP here, which like it's either clear rejections off of it or it just blasts right through it. So that's kind of the reason why I'm gonna be shorting around this area because in my opinion, I think we'll see a reaction. Um, I think we'll get filled Wednesday, in my opinion. I don't think we get filled today. We might like chop around until New York open, sorry, New York close, and maybe Asia pumps it tomorrow, like or sorry, tonight, I guess. But I'm expecting either we get filled in Asia or during New York Open tomorrow. So I'll be ideally at New York Open tomorrow because I'll be awake during then. I'm not really awake during Asia. Um, but yeah, this also would line up with H20 MA200 as well. Like, not like perfectly, but like I think if it would align tomorrow, it would align better. I think with a H1 EMA. What else? What other good confluences? Yeah, Monday high, monthly open. Like we've accepted back below, obviously monthly open. So yeah, my bias for the rest of the month is for now bearish until proven otherwise, man. Like, why would I? Why would I stay bullish after like we've clearly accepted back below this swing low here? Like for example here, when price was at 87K, I saw a lot of people bearish, and then we ended up closing back above. Like that was not that was only until like sure before that when we were down here, yeah, sure it looked pretty bearish, right? But I would always wait for like H4 closes before taking any trades. Um, at I'm talking about like at swing pivots, not just like any random area on the chart. So once we swept that and closed back here, I was pretty bullish, not gonna lie. Um, and yeah, I mean, we did make a higher high. Unfortunately, that higher high was swept, and that was such a clean short. I just didn't take it because I don't think I was. I can't remember. I don't think I wanted to take a position like on the foam C week, so that's why I didn't take the position there. But this yearly open retest was, oh my god, like I wish I set limits for this. That was so clean. Just Pico wick 10, just yeah, that was the top. But yeah, for now, looking for there for a long. Oh, sorry, for a short. Sorry. Um, yeah, a couple confluences. But yeah, let me guys, let me know guys if you have any charts you want me to look at. I'll um I'll pull them up. I'm hoping we get filled on this. That would suck if we get front run. I don't think I covered the short for Solana. To be honest, I'm sorry for Ethereum. The short for Ethereum, in my opinion, oh, okay, that was a nice sweep there, but it's already nuking. So, but to be honest, I don't even know if I would have short there because our Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, this has been the strongest. It's still somewhat holding structure here. It's just well, it's just sweeping below this low, right? It's not lost it yet. So until it loses it, mm, I'm not really interested in. I mean, you could short. I think if you're gonna short, I'd wait for like maybe like the 50% of this like gap here, which would also align with the golden pocket. I'm pretty sure that would have a nice reaction. You know, I was thinking of shorting up here in this. Well, this was a massive gap, right? But like I was because Ethereum was looking stronger than Bitcoin and Sol, so I was waiting for the 786, but it never hit the 786. it just wicked the 618. So you could have technically scalped shorted this, and yeah, literally, it was just down only from them. But we didn't get the 786 unfortunately. So that was a no trade. I'm being very selective with the trade setups this month because I feel like less is more, in especially during a low volume illiquid month like December. Like I think January, February, March, those are the times you want to be more risk averse. Mm. Or at least last year that was the case, right? Like in December it was just last year we can look on the chart. Last year, actually let me just, oh Jesus, let me go to December. Last year, like we had a range between like, if I remember correctly, it was like 90. Yeah, it was like December. Yeah, we had like a range between like 93 and like 100K. Let me see. Yeah, like you can see right, like swept like 93 here, tagged 108, nuked back down, chopped sideways. Like it wasn't like it was a clean range, but like it wasn't. A lot of people got chopped up here in this little mini range that we had. Um, Also, like we had a crazy amount of liquidation cascades back then, so it was manipulative as a motherfucker. Um, yeah. So this month, in my opinion, is like lower probability for setups to play out. Obviously, it depends on your system, but for my system, I'm just really trying to look for like A plus setups, high probability. Um, multiple confluences, not just like one or two. Um, waiting for confirmation, structure, that sort of stuff. But yeah, um, do any of you have any questions? I'm not saying any chart requests, so I'm assuming you guys are staying away from the shitcoins too. At least I am. I'm not really looking at. I know Mura likes to trade the shitcoins, but I don't know, man. Not for me. Not my style. At least, especially this month. Did you guys see Pippin? Yeah, gonna take it easy. Yeah, man, for sure. Like, like for sure, you can make a lot of money in like low illiquid environments, but the majority of people lose. So, yeah. By the way, look at this. Look at this coin, right? Pippin. It's one of those meme coins, Solana meme coins. It had this like slow grind up, right? It just looked dodgy, right? And then boom, like one candle and it's down 48%, 46%. And this happens all the time, like with these low cap shit coins. So you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure you have stop losses in, or otherwise you're gonna get molested. If you don't, um, I don't like to trade these like coins, man. Like Bitcoin's manipulative enough. Like I don't need to. I don't need to become. That's enough. Trading Bitcoin for me is enough degeneracy, you know. Um, at least for me. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here, guys. But quick notes is I'll finally touch upon that. I think next year's gonna be interesting, right? Oh yeah, I'll cover one last point. USDT dominance, right? So this is tether dominance on a very high time frame scale, so weekly. This there are points to argue why you could be like why you would be bullish here. Like every time we've gone above, I mean, I'd say even 6.2%. Like those were bottoms, right? In So in August 2024 last year, that this massive wick on USDT dominance that was caused by the Japanese carry trade, where like when like BOJ hiked rates and everyone got like fucked because they were borrowing the yen, or they were borrowing yen for cheap and then buying assets in dollars. So that unwind caused a massive nuke in the markets, and but that was the Pico bottom, right? Like that Black Swan event was the Pico bottom of last year. Like 49K Bitcoin, Ethereum I think it was like 2K, something like that. Solana I think it was 120. And we're at those levels now on well sorry, not on Bitcoin and ETH, but Solana's at 120. Bitcoin's at Bitcoin definitely is a lot higher because the dominance, like like this is a institutional driven cycle, so it's only gonna get like more Bitcoin dominant, like heavily dominated. That's why like people saying like, oh, like when's alt season gonna happen? Well, I mean, uh, I'm personally not sure, but I think there'll be periods of like alts outperforming, but over the long term, like Bitcoin's king, like, in my opinion. It's really just gonna get bigger and bigger. Versus like comparing to alts, like they're probably just gonna lose value against the Bitcoin over time. There'll be exceptions, of course, but yeah. But back to this chart, we're technically like, you know, at range highs, right? This is basically just inverted Bitcoin, but it's a bit cleaner in my opinion, right? And you can get like the Bitcoin chart can get a bit messy. USDT, you just mark at a high. Once it's taken, look for like signs of reversal. So we took that high in August, nuked back down, and obviously that week was the bottom. I mean, we pulled back in September, but we did not go to August lows again. Same thing in April, right? Trump caused the markets to nuke because of tariffs. That was um that was also like a weekly sweep on the USDT dominance, and that was also the bottom at like 71K Bitcoin. I think Solana dropped to like 90 ish. Ethereum went all the way to 1 point. Can you believe Ethereum was at like 1.3K? I think it was in no, I think it was 1.4, like 1.4K in April. So that's insane, man. Like it's up even now. It's up like insane amounts for just for just I mean it went up so quickly in my opinion. Like from April to like July, August, it was already up 2x. So yeah, in my opinion, like if we get those levels again next year, like trust me, those are good buying opportunities. Um, but yeah, you could argue like this is potentially a good opportunity here. It really, in my opinion, it really just depends on monthly close. That's what I was talking about on my channel. Like if you're a bull here, you don't want to close above what is this like 6.24%. That's my opinion. You definitely don't want to close above 6.5. That would like suggest we're going a lot higher on USDT dominance. So that would be ugly on Bitcoin. But yeah, um, and obviously monthly open will be yearly open. So that like yearly open, that'll just give us like a more insight across not only just crypto, like across all markets, like S&P, Nasdaq, even like Dixie. Like I'm gonna be marking out on the 1st of January. I'm gonna be marking out every yearly open of every single asset, and just like comparing, like trying to find or like creating a thesis of like how the year's gonna play out. I spoke about that a little bit in my channel, but yeah. Um, but yeah, guys. I think I want to end it here. Thanks for um, thanks for coming. Um, hope you enjoyed it. I'm not sure if this was recorded. Uh, I'll have to check. But yeah. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll be in the chats if you need anything. And yeah, peace out.